Have you ever woken up from a nightmare and for a few seconds it still feels real? Your heart pounds, your body stiffens, but then it hits you that it was only a dream. That is exactly how you should treat someone who hurt you. He wasn't your forever. He was just a bad dream. And the worst mistake you can make is to keep replaying it when you are already awake. Today isn't about what he did. It's about you finally making a decision. There's no turning back. When we go through heartbreak, the mind tends to turn the past into a sort of private museum. We collect every little detail, every message, every photo, every sweet moment, and we put it on display as if it deserves to be kept forever. We keep replaying his jokes, the way he touched us, the times he said things that felt special. But here's the truth. None of that belongs in a museum, because a museum is meant for things that hold real value, things that deserve respect and memory. When someone showed you that they could not truly value you, why would you build a shrine for them in your heart? What happens when you turn his memory into a museum is that you trap yourself inside nostalgia. You end up seeing him through a soft golden filter, remembering only the highlights. You cut out the fights, the neglect, the times you felt invisible. You erase the coldness, the confusion, the broken promises. And because you've edited out the reality, you begin to miss him, not realizing you are longing for the version you created, not the one who truly existed. That is why letting go feels so painful. Because you're not letting go of him, you're letting go of the illusion you built inside your museum. And here's the dangerous part. Each time you walk through those mental exhibits, you feed an emotional cycle. You feel sad, so you think of him. You think of him, so you feel sad again. And the loop repeats. It's no longer him hurting you. It's your own mind keeping him alive in a place where he no longer belongs. The question you need to ask yourself is this: am I really willing to keep pouring energy into a past that doesn't even exist anymore? Or am I ready to take down that museum and start building something new? When you stop curating his memory, you create space for reality to come back into focus. Reality tells you he wasn't consistent. Reality tells you he wasn't showing up as the man you needed him to be. Reality tells you he had his chance, and he chose to waste it. And reality, if you're brave enough to face it, will free you. Because you don't need a museum to remind you of your worth. You don't need mementos from someone who couldn't see your value. What you need is space. Space to breathe, to heal, and to allow better things into your life. Think about it this way. Each time you step into that museum in your head, you're walking out of your own present. You're ignoring your own growth, your own passions, your own future, just to stand in front of a dusty display of what once was. And for what? To keep reminding yourself of a man who already made his choice. To keep polishing memories that only hold you back. That isn't honoring your past. That is chaining yourself to it. The truth is that forgetting isn't about erasing every memory. You may never forget completely, but you can refuse to give those memories power. You can stop making them sacred. You can decide they are no longer worth visiting. That is when healing begins. Not when the memories vanish, but when you choose that they are no longer worth turning into museum pieces. So if you catch yourself building another exhibit, another highlight reel in your mind, stop and remind yourself this is not treasure. This is only distraction. This is not history worth keeping. This is just clutter in the gallery of your mind, and you deserve better art on your walls than that. You deserve to walk into a mental space that inspires you, lifts you, and pushes you forward. That only happens when you take apart the museum of him and create room for the masterpiece of your own life. We are taught to think that closure is something someone else gives us, that if they return with the perfect apology, if they explain why they did what they did, if they show regret for losing us, then we'll finally be able to move on. But that belief keeps us waiting at a door that might never open. Closure is not a gift handed to you. It is a choice you make. It's the moment you stop expecting their words to heal you and decide that their silence, their absence, or even their cruelty is enough proof to keep going. When someone leaves your life, it's normal to crave answers. We want to know why they didn't choose us, why they gave up, why they walked away after all we gave. We convince ourselves that if we just knew the explanation, the pain would feel lighter. But the truth is, even if they sat you down and told you everything, it wouldn't change what happened. You'd still face the same reality. They're gone. The relationship is finished. They could not give you what you truly deserved. Words cannot undo actions, and no explanation fills the space their absence left. The issue with waiting for closure from someone else is that it keeps you stuck in their orbit. You're still checking your phone, still hoping for that message, still trying to interpret what their silence might mean. And while you're waiting, your own life is paused. You stop moving forward because you're still looking back. The irony is that the closure you're waiting for only arrives once you stop waiting. It shows up the day you decide, I don't need their version of the story to write my own ending. Real closure is a decision you give yourself. It's the choice to accept what you already know, that they couldn't or wouldn't be the person you needed, and let that be enough. It's choosing not to chase the why, but to accept the what. It's saying, I may never fully understand their choices, but I understand my own worth, and that's enough reason to let go. That's where your power is, because when you hand closure to them, you give them power over your healing. When you create closure for yourself, you take that power back. And yes, making closure for yourself is painful. It means accepting that the person you wanted isn't going to appear and fix it all. It means sitting with the loss without the comfort of a neat explanation. But that pain is temporary. And on the other side of it is freedom. Freedom from waiting. Freedom from hoping they'll repair what they broke. Freedom from handing your peace to someone else. Ask yourself, do you want to keep waiting for someone who already proved they couldn't give you what you need? Or do you want to choose yourself and close the door even if it feels heavy, even if it stings? Because one choice keeps you stuck in the middle and the other sets you free. And when you choose freedom, you'll notice something powerful. Closure stops being about them. It becomes about you. It's no longer, he gave me closure. It's, I decided I was worth more than waiting another day for someone who didn't choose me. And that is the most empowering closure of all. The closure you give yourself, the one that doesn't depend on anyone else's words, actions, or timing. The closure that comes from a calm, steady decision. The story is finished, and I'm not rereading it again. When you are in the middle of heartbreak, the pain feels heavy. It hits you in waves. At times it's sharp, at times it's dull, but it's always there reminding you of what you lost. It's easy in those moments to believe that pain is proof you can't move on, that the ache in your chest means you are still tied to him, that you must need him back to make it stop. But pain does not mean you need him. Pain is a signal, not a life sentence. It's your body and mind's way of saying something important has shifted, that something you valued has been disrupted. Pain is information, not an instruction to run back to the one who caused it. Think about physical pain. If you touch a burning stove, your nerves shout at you to pull away. The pain isn't there to ruin you. It's there to protect you, to warn you something harmful is happening. Emotional pain works the same way. That ache you feel is not a sign you need him again. It's a warning that how you attached yourself to him, how you invested in him, left a wound. The pain isn't telling you to chase him. It's telling you to take care of yourself. The danger comes when we misread the signal. Instead of seeing pain as a call to care for ourselves, we treat it as proof we can't live without him. We think, if I feel this much, it must mean he was the one. But that isn't love. That's withdrawal. When you've poured your energy, time, and emotions into someone, of course you feel an emptiness when they leave. But emptiness doesn't mean they were right for you. It means you now have space to fill with something better. If you keep misunderstanding the pain, you'll keep running back to its source, like touching the hot stove again and again. When you begin to reframe pain as a signal, you take back your power. Instead of saying, I'm broken because he's gone, you start asking, what is this pain teaching me? Maybe it's showing you that you gave too much without receiving enough. Maybe it's reminding you that you ignored red flags because you were scared of being alone. Maybe it's waking you up to the truth that you need stronger boundaries, deeper self-respect, or a clearer understanding of what you deserve. Pain is a teacher, but only if you listen instead of running back to the person who caused it. And here's the most important thing. Pain fades. It does not last forever, even if right now it feels endless. Just like physical wounds heal if you stop reopening them, emotional wounds heal if you stop tearing them open by obsessing over him. The more you put energy into your healing by creating new habits, leaning on people who care, investing in passions that bring you joy, the less that pain will control you. Slowly, it shifts from a roar to a soft whisper, and then one day you suddenly realize it isn't there anymore. The truth is, the pain you carry right now isn't your enemy. It's actually your companion. It's your own system reminding you that you deserve something far better than this. Don't get stuck here. Keep walking forward. If you stop being afraid of the pain and instead start respecting the message it carries, you'll find out it's not a chain holding you in place. It's a signal pointing you toward the healing and growth you truly need. And once that sinks in, you'll never mistake pain as proof that you should go back to him again. You'll see it for what it really is. Evidence that you are alive, that you can feel deeply, and that you have the strength to create a life beyond him. Rejection has a sharp way of cutting into you. It makes you question yourself, your worth, and your desirability. When someone you cared for decides not to choose you, the first reaction is often to wonder what's wrong with you. Maybe you weren't attractive enough. Maybe you weren't fun enough. Maybe you weren't lovable enough. But here's the truth you must keep close. Rejection doesn't take away your value. It doesn't shrink your worth by even a little bit. What rejection does is redirect you. It closes one door so you won't waste time knocking on it when another one, a much better one, is waiting to open. The mind plays cruel tricks after rejection. It replays everything you could have done differently. If only you had said this, done that, been more of this or less of that, maybe things would have turned out differently. But that kind of thinking puts your sense of worth in the hands of someone who was never meant to hold it. His failure to see your value doesn't mean your value wasn't there. It only means he wasn't the kind of person capable of appreciating it. Not everyone can see a diamond for what it is. Some people only know how to play with stones. So instead of seeing rejection as proof of your weakness, see it as protection. Imagine if he had stayed. Imagine if his inconsistency, his lack of commitment, or his inability to meet you where you are had been stretched over years instead of months. Rejection saved you from wasting more time and energy on someone who was not prepared to give you the love you deserve. It's not that you weren't enough. It's that he wasn't aligned. And when you trust that truth, you'll realize rejection wasn't the universe punishing you. It was the universe protecting you. The hardest part is separating your self-worth from his choice. Because when someone walks away, it feels like they are rejecting not only the relationship, but who you are at your very core. But rejection isn't a verdict on your entire being. It's simply a mismatch. Think of it like trying on shoes. Sometimes the size just doesn't fit. That doesn't mean the shoe has no value. It only means it wasn't the right fit. You are not defined by the people who fail to choose you. You are defined by how you choose yourself after they're gone. And here's the beautiful side of it. Rejection creates room. When he steps out, the empty space he leaves behind might feel painful, but it's also an opening for new love. Deeper love, love that truly meets you where you are. If he had stayed, that space would still be filled with the wrong person, blocking the right one from entering your life. In this way, rejection is not the end of your story. It's the clearing of a page so a better chapter can begin. So instead of seeing rejection as a loss, see it as a filter. It's life's way of removing those who can't rise to the level of the love you give. The wrong person leaving creates space for the right person to arrive. And when that right person shows up, you'll finally understand why the others never worked out. You'll see rejection was never about your lack of worth. It was about your destiny being protected. Rejection stings, yes, but it doesn't mean you're less. It means you're being kept for more. And when you hold on to that truth, the sharpness of someone leaving changes into the strength of knowing you were never supposed to stay there anyway. The rejection that feels like devastation today is simply redirection toward the love and life that was always meant for you. Energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. Every thought you allow, every memory you replay, every minute you spend holding on to the past is energy you're spending. And the truth is, your energy is far too precious to waste on longing for what's gone. When you keep looking back at what used to be, you rob yourself of the chance to fully live in the now and create what's next. You're giving life to a story that already ended instead of writing the new one that could truly fulfill you. Nostalgia has a way of tricking you. It makes you focus on the good moments while conveniently erasing the painful ones. You remember the laughter, the late night talks, the way he looked at you like you were his only world. But nostalgia hides the arguments, the doubts, the empty promises. It blinds you to the full reality, making you crave something that never truly existed the way you imagine. It's like rewatching a movie, but skipping all the scenes that hurt you, convincing yourself it was a perfect love story when it wasn't. That's the trap of nostalgia. It keeps you tied to a version of him that never really existed. When you begin to see how valuable your energy is, nostalgia starts to feel like theft. Every time you scroll through old pictures, you're stealing energy from your present self to feed a ghost. Every time you replay old conversations in your head, you're taking energy away from your future just to live again in the past. That energy could be fueling your healing, your growth, your passions, your glow up. It could be used to build confidence, to create new memories, to attract people who are actually capable of loving you the way you deserve. Instead, it gets drained by memories that no longer serve you. Think of your energy like money. If you had $100, would you spend it on something that would never benefit you again? Of course not. You'd call that a waste. Yet when you pour your energy into nostalgia, you're doing the same thing, investing in something that gives you no return. Your energy, just like your money, should be placed where it grows, in self-respect, in joy, in the future you're creating. It's also important to remember that the person you're nostalgic for is not the person who exists today. You might be missing the version of him you knew months or years ago, but that version doesn't exist anymore. People change. Choices reveal character. The man who hurt you, ignored you, or left you is not the same person you're romanticizing in your memory. By holding on to nostalgia, you're staying loyal to a ghost, not to reality. And ghosts can't love you, can't hold you, can't build a future with you. The more you realize the cost of nostalgia, the more careful you'll become with your energy. You stop scrolling through old texts late at night. You stop playing the what-if game. You stop spending hours with friends analyzing his actions. Instead, you place that energy into yourself, into becoming stronger, more fulfilled, more magnetic, into creating new memories that don't hurt when you look back, into building a future so rich that the past loses its pull. Your energy is your strength. Protect it with care. Every time you choose not to feed nostalgia, you're feeding your future. And as you keep making that choice, something powerful happens. The past loses its hold. What once felt heavy becomes lighter. What once consumed you becomes blurry, and you realize that your energy, when kept and directed toward yourself, has the power to create a life so much brighter, richer, and more beautiful than anything nostalgia could ever give you. Revenge can feel tempting when you've been hurt. A part of you wants him to feel what you felt, to regret losing you, to see you thriving and realize what he gave up. But the truth is, the strongest revenge isn't anger, it isn't bitterness, it isn't trying to make him jealous. The greatest revenge is forgetting he exists. Indifference is much more powerful than rage, because rage still ties you to him, but forgetting breaks the tie completely. When someone no longer has the power to take over your thoughts or influence your emotions, that's when you've truly won. Forgetting him doesn't mean deleting every memory or pretending the relationship never happened. It means you no longer allow those memories to control you. It's about getting to the point where his name doesn't sting, where his face doesn't twist your stomach, where you're so focused on your own life that he barely crosses your mind. That kind of forgetting isn't about losing your past. It's about reclaiming your present. It's telling yourself, I won't give another drop of my time or energy to someone who no longer deserves it. Indifference is powerful because it starves the ego of what it craves most: attention. Many people expect anger after they leave. They expect you to still care, still fight, still ache for them. But when you stop reacting, when you stop caring, when you stop making them the center of your world, you break the pattern. They can no longer feed on the thought that they still matter to you. And whether or not they ever notice, you'll know inside that you've taken back your control. The beauty of forgetting is that it's not about them, it's about you. When you let someone live in your heart long after they're gone, you're carrying weight that isn't yours anymore. Forgetting is like setting that weight down. It's giving yourself freedom from wondering where he is, who he's with, or if he thinks about you. None of that is part of your story anymore. By forgetting, you give yourself permission to stop living as a reaction to him and start living fully for you. At first, it may feel impossible because in the beginning, everything reminds you of him.